So motion is life. Your body knows nothing of muscles, only movement, says Carl Bolbath, a physical therapist. Rightly so. Your body knows nothing of muscles. So going to a back specialist is going to help your back temporarily. Going to a shoulder specialist is going to help your shoulder temporarily. But do you agree, if you look at the bottom image here, and these are what they call fascial lines. Now, if we look at the first image here. So down at the ankles, the blue wraps around the outer part of the leg, crosses over into the front of the chest, into the neck, and into the shoulder unit in the front, and does the same thing in the back. And that's your anterior and posterior oblique systems. Anterior refers to the front of the body, posterior refers to the backside. According to some research, it is the basis of human movement. The efficiency and harmony of these muscle systems are very significant, as the limbs merely amplify movement that originates in the musculature of the spine and trunk. This myofascial system relates to the structure's involvement within the sling, and this sling comprises of different types of tissues that help the muscles and ligaments work together to create stability and mobility simultaneously. It acts as a coiled spring which stores and releases energy within the thoracolumbar fascial system, which is indicated in a slightly shaded area on the right lower half of her waist across to the left gluteus maximus. Now, the fascia, which is a crystalline network and helps to transfer information through the body, it also stores information. It's piezoelectric. Remember, your body is bioelectric. But it wraps around and creates like an envelope around the body. So sometimes I like to use the example of, okay, let's say I'm moving my apartment or my house. Besides putting everything in a truck to move, let's say I have a pickup truck and I got to go back for a few items. So I load up the back of my pickup truck and I got all kinds of stuff stuck on there, or in there rather. Would I anchor that stuff down? Yes. And when I anchor it down, I may take rope and go across, horizontally across to anchor my objects down. But I also may go on an angle and cross it over. You follow me? And anchor it down. So your fascia, you can see here, starting at the bottom of your ankle and going up the back of the leg, through the glutes, into the low back, up the middle of the back, into the upper neck, into the head. So that's anchoring you down in a vertical line. And then the spiral line anchors you what they call contralaterally. So going from one hip to the opposite shoulder. So it goes across. So straight up and across, anchoring the body. Although the fascia helps you move, part of your electrical system, helps you to move your muscles, but it anchors you down. And you need this fascia to be unrestricted so that you can move joints adequately through the range of motion. So this image up here, this man is walking, he's using his fascia, he's using electricity, he's rotating his trunk just enough to ambulate across the ground. So here he's ambulating with his right foot forward, and now he's about to swing his left foot through and forward, and then stepping down with the left foot. Now his right foot is back. And there's rotation happening here in his trunk. Well, people have restrictions. Their back is tight, their hips are tight, their shoulder might be tight, their shoulder girdle might be tight. And in these two images here, where I'm doing a range of motion assessment on this client, you can visibly see the difference between one side of the body to the other. And those are what we call imbalances. So you can clearly see the line here this leg goes, it swings out further compared to his left. And as he raises his arms to his side, his right shoulder blade clearly moves further than his left as he raises his arm. So he's got restrictions here, which this big muscle here called your latissimus muscle. I found that to be short and tight. And his right one is long and weak. And here, his deep hip rotators, because in order for him to swing his leg out, he's got to be able to rotate his leg bone inside of his hip socket. He's got more restrictions on the left. And this guy came to me with shoulder pain, back pain, knee pain, and ankle pain. And these were the restrictions. And he'd been to an orthopedic, been to physical therapists, and hired a number of trainers. And what I told him was he wanted the full holistic approach with a W. So I looked at his lifestyle in detail, started reducing his emotional stress, got his sleep rhythm back, got him off certain foods, brought his pain level down, referred him to a chiropractor, and I'll get into that in a minute. But we want to restore movement, not just muscles, because everybody else focused on either his shoulder or his back or his ankle or his knee. But they didn't tie it all together because your body works as a system. So if one system is short and tight, if your ankle is short and tight, you see at the bottom image here, if your ankle is short and tight, it affects that entire fascial line. So as an example, if I crimple up my shirt, you see how I'm forming these creases here? Now the crimple is down here, so I'm twisting and knotting up the material, but it's affecting my shirt as a whole. So think of the shirt as fascia. And then that will affect muscles as well, too. So I have a knot here, so I have to get that knot out, and that releases that tension across that fabric. So people have knots in their muscles. So those have to be, sometimes they have to be physically released. So I sent them to somebody to do that for me. I gave them stretches, but if I use the example of a rubber band, I want to stretch your muscle, right? So let's say this is your muscle and you want to stretch it out, right? But it always goes back to being tight. Well, there's a number of reasons why that is. One reason is that you may have a knot. Now, if I pull this knot, the knot will get tighter, but I'll lose the length, which with each knot, or if the knot gets bigger, I get less length. So what do I got to do? I got to get the knot out of there. So I go to a myofascial therapist or a neuromuscular therapist or a body worker and to get the knot out. So, but the $10,000 question is, why is the muscle tight?